So let's get started on the windows. I'm gonna hide the back and right elevations for now and go to the front view. Okay, let's open up our layers and create a new one for the windows. So I'm going to freeze the walls. And start making some simple windows. So first I'm going to set up a couple of placeholders for window materials. So actually just going to create a multi-sub material. Change the color of the first material, something like this. And the second, something bluish for the glass. Okay. Let's get started. So I'm using the rectangle tool now. Convert to double spline and move this up. So now I'm selecting the line and using the outline tool like this. Okay, let's extrude it out. Let's make it some 8 centimeters. Okay, maybe 10. Convert to editable poly. Select these vertices, connect them, just so we get a clean geometry. Okay, remove these edges here. And we have this simple frame now. Okay, let's make the inner part. Ring your selected edge and use the connect. Okay, I'm going to set it to 2 segments and pinch it out like this. Okay, ring this selection again, convert it to faces. And extrude them. Check the extrusion type is local normal and match the AutoCAD drawings. Like this. Okay, so now I'm going to draw a simple profile with the line tool. Let's chamfer these vertices right away, just to get some nice edges here. Rotate it like this and extrude. Okay, go to the top view and move in the correct position. Okay, Shift plus rotate to make a copy. Move it down. And reduce the extrusion amount. Like this. So let's move it back just a tiny bit. Open up the Move Transform Typing dialog box and set it to 1 millimeter in the Y direction, just so we don't have intersecting faces or coplanar faces. Okay, maybe another mill. Okay, like this. Now, using the box tool, create the window panes. I'm going to create a separate object for each pane, so we can easily use the face UVW mapping later to give it some realistic bump. Okay, let's set the height to 0.5 centimeter. Shift plus move down to make a copy, add edit poly modifier. And move these points down. Okay, so now from the perspective view, move them in the correct position. Perfect. So let's assign our multi-sub material. And give these glass parts material modifier. Set the material ID to 2 and it automatically changes the material. Okay. Isolate the large window frame. I'm going to chamfer these long edges. Select all of them and loop. Let's chamfer it at 1 millimeter, maybe 2. 2 looks good. Okay, now let's group these parts together. Okay, and finally the windowsill. Simple box. Don't make it too big. Okay. Perfect. Let's make another material and create a new standard material. And assign it to the windowsill. Okay. And let's chamfer the edges for it as well. Select all the edges and chamfer and 2 mil. So that's the first window, and this is the basic procedure I'm going to use for all the other windows as well. So now I'm gonna shift and move it to the right. Make a copy. Move in the correct position. Okay, so there's no windowsill over here. So I'm gonna delete it. Now add the Edit Poly modifier to the whole window group. Now you can simply select vertices and move them to match the size of the drawing. Okay. Making sure there are no gaps. I'm going to add a symmetry modifier here. Flip it, and we have this second vertical part ready as well. Okay, looks good. Let's move it in the position. And move on to the next window. So I'm going to copy it down for the basement window. Make sure the lower part is aligned perfectly. And drop another symmetry modifier on top of this. Flip it, move down. Okay, perfect. Collapse to editable poly. Add Edit Poly modifier. And I want to remove these unneeded edges here, here, here. Basically, I want to remove them just from the window panes, from the glass part. I'm doing this so we can use the face UVW mapping later on, and this will make sure that the whole glass panel gets a single map. If we leave these edges here, there will be two maps, one next to each other. Okay. So let's make a copy to the top. Move these vertices down. Move these up. And ungroup. So I want to make this diagonal part now, and to do that I'm going to collapse it to editable poly and use the slice plane to add some edges here. Okay, rotate it like this. Perfect. Slice. Move over here. Rotate the plane like this. I'm matching this angle here. And slice. Now you can delete these polygons. Select these two borders and use the bridge tool on them. And it connects them very well. Perfect. Okay, now let's fix this one. Just simply move the vertices to the left. Okay, we can group this window together now. And copy the windowsill from here to this new window here. Fix the size. And move to the correct position. Very nice. Okay, back to the front view. And let's make these windows in this entrance area here. So first, let's make the lower part. I'm gonna freeze my elevation drawing and copy this window over here. Adjust the size of the frame to match the elevation. Okay. So these wooden frames are a bit thicker here. So I'm gonna adjust the size to fix that. Okay, it's actually pretty much the same, so no need for that. This one's a bit thicker. So just move these vertices to the right. Move these here. And I think I need to move this up here. Okay, like this. Okay, so that's the basic frame. Draw a symmetry modifier on top of it. And flip it around. Okay. Let's go back and move these down a bit. A bit too high right now. This should be fine. Okay, so that's good. Let's make the doors. I'm going to isolate the elevation drawing. And use the rectangle tool to create a shape like this. Add extrude modifier. Set it to 4 centimeters. Convert to editable poly. Shift plus move here to make a copy. Okay, Shift plus rotate to make a horizontal copy. And move the vertices like this. Copy down. And create rectangle snapping to these points. Okay. Let's make it renderable and give it a rectangular profile. Let's try 5 by 5. Okay. Maybe 3 by 5. Too much. Let's set it to 2 by 5 and move to the center of the door frame. Okay. Convert to editable poly. Freeze the elevation and select everything. Let's add edit poly modifier. And chamfer all the edges. One millimeter should be enough. Okay. And now create a box for the glass. Set the height to 0.5 centimeter, position in place, and assign the windows material to everything. Okay. Change the material ID for the glass. And for the frame as well. Okay, so that's ready. Group together. Make a mirrored copy. Now let's create a box between the two doors. Okay, look at it from the top and make it slightly thicker than the doors. Like this. Okay. Assign the material. Select all the polygons and set the material ID to 1. And chamfer all the edges. Okay, so that's the door. ungroup and group together. Okay, so let's move the door into position. Okay, looks like I made a little mistake. There's no need for the middle part, so I'm gonna open up the group, delete it, and move the doors closer together. Like this. Okay, close the group. And that's better. Now move the doors out a bit, like this. So they are overlapping the rest of the frame. Okay. Now you can safely move the door in the correct position. That's here. Looks like our window frames have incorrect material IDs. So I'm gonna isolate these windows, open the groups. Select these outer frames. And fix them with the material modifier, like this. Okay, so this looks better. Close the groups. And let's move on to this top part here. So first I'm gonna copy the door up. So it looks like the upper doors are bigger than on the first floor. So I'm gonna add the edit poly modifier and make the size larger. Okay, and move these to the sides. Okay. Now I'm gonna copy the rest of this window. Just Shift plus move up. And move it here like this. Okay. Let's add an edit poly modifier on top of everything and move this part up. So now select this element and make a copy here. Choose clone to object. Okay. So now we need to cut off it diagonally. So let's ungroup it. Wait a minute. Okay, before that we need to fix the lower part. Let's move it down, yes, matching the elevation. And now we can ungroup everything. Okay. Let's hide this for now. So I want to cut everything except the outer frame, like this. So I've selected everything except the outer frame and the door. Now I'm gonna unhide the elevation and add a slice modifier to these elements. Position in place. And remove the top. Okay. Now select the outer frame, collapse it to editable poly. And let's detach this part here. Okay. And delete these polygons here. Okay, not delete. Move this down, move these vertices down, like this. Okay, now while these vertices are selected, I'm gonna add FFD222 modifier and drag these control points down to fit the elevation drawing. Okay, collapse to editable poly, and that's good enough for now. Now we need to add this diagonal part here. I'm just gonna take this one, remove the unneeded edges, just select and backspace them. Same with the vertices. Center the pivot to the object. And rotate like this. Okay, now select these vertices and fit them here. And move these ones here. Okay, no need for it to be perfect. We're gonna move it in just a little bit. So how about 1 millimeter on the y-axis? Perfect. So that's the upper window. You can group it together. Go to the plan view and unhide the second floor. Okay, so that's the first floor. And there's our second floor window. Okay. So let's move on to the next window now. I'm gonna copy this to the right. So now it gets pretty repetitive, and you just keep making these windows until they are all ready. The symmetry modifier really comes in handy in these situations where you need to reduce the amount of sections in the window, or increase. Okay, so these are ready. Let's move them into position. First, let's unhide the first floor drawing and hide the second one. And now move in the correct position. Okay, so let's move on. Let's make these windows over here. So they are a bit different, but we can still use this window we created and modify it to match these ones. Okay, and edit poly, adjust the size. And I think the height is pretty much, well, it should be a bit higher, I guess. Check from the right. Unhide the right elevation. Move the window in the correct position. Okay. And check the height. So I'm gonna bring it up to the roof line. Okay. I think it looks a bit weird now. Since we don't have any sections, it's hard to tell exactly how it looks over here. But I think it needs another horizontal element. Perhaps like this. Okay, I'm gonna create a plane just to see where the center line is, and it's pretty much accurate. Okay, I'm gonna ungroup this. And change the size of these glass panels. Okay, and copy to the top to make a copy. So I think this should be fine. Okay. Group it together. Unhide the front elevation. And Shift plus move to make some copies. Okay. Now there are these thicker vertical elements. They're probably wooden as well. So I'm gonna make one from a box. Adjust the size to match the windows. And assign it to our Windows material. Okay, make sure all the faces have the first material ID. Okay, and chamfer the edges. Let's give it 2mm chamfer. Now just make some copies for the rest of the gaps. So this looks good. Let's copy it to this window here. So this one is probably lower. Let's check from the right. First move in the correct position from the top. Now check from the right. Okay, let's add edit poly and delete these elements here. Move this down up to the roof and increase the size of window panes. something like this. Now let's copy these boxes over here. Okay. Now let's reduce their height. Just check from the right view. And move the vertices down like this. Perfect. Okay, so here's another window on the roof. I think we're going to leave this and this part until we have our roof done. So that's it for the front windows right now. Sorry, looks like I forgot to create a hole in the wall here. Just gonna fix that. So now I'm going to unfreeze the wall layer and cut out this piece here, okay, like this. Now you can freeze the walls again and copy this window down. Okay. Add edit poly, and let's delete these elements. Now simply move the vertices down to match the drawing. Okay, so the front windows are pretty much done. Let's move on to the left view. I'm going to unhide the left elevation. And copy these windows by Shift plus rotating them minus 90 degrees on the Z axis. Make a copy, move over here. Okay. So the height pretty much matches. Okay, let's fix them. So first, let's start with this one. Move the vertices up, match the drawing, pretty simple. And move the center part over here. So I'm gonna throw another symmetry on top of it. Flip the axis and move over here. Perfect. Okay. Let's add edit poly for this group as well. Let's first fix this angled part. And now move to the right. This should be okay. So one more thing, let's move this element to the right. And make sure our glass boxes are not leaving any gaps here. And go inside the frame nicely. Okay. Can get rid of this element and these two as well. Now simply drag these vertices to the right, and this window is pretty much ready. Okay, fix the sill. Perfect. So the lower window has a sill as well, so I will copy this down. Now go to the top view and move them in the correct position. So it looks like it doesn't perfectly match the drawings from the top and the left, but I think that's not too significant. We can live with that. Okay. Let's move on to the next part. So for the garage doors, I'm going to make a simple box for now. We'll decide what to do with it a bit later. Okay. Let's give it another material. Actually, let's just make an instance of this wood material. And assign it to the door. Okay. So now the next window. Just copy this one to the left. Looks like the angle is the same. The only adjustment we need to make is over here. Need to make it a bit more narrow. And that's good. And use the mirror tool to create a copy for the other window. Okay, great. Let's check from the top. Unhide the second floor drawing and move in the correct position, like this. So these are the left side windows. Like I forgot to copy the sill. I'm gonna do that now. Okay, good. So looks like I forgot another window here. I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly cut this out. and copy one of the windows up. Okay, convert to editable poly, add the edit poly modifier, and get rid of these elements here. Okay. And that's good. Let's unhide the back. So this is going to be pretty much the same as I did for the front and the left. Since the process is pretty much the same and it would be a bit boring to watch, I'm just gonna cut this part out. So now that we have our walls and windows ready, we can proceed to the roof.